Welcome to Movie.Pitch, everybody. I'm Amber.
I'm Mike.
I'm Costa.
And this is the show where two people compete. I'm the movie executive, and they have to try and convince me to give them money for their movie.
Yep.
So this week...
We want your money.
Yeah. Depends on if I want to give it to you. Here we go. So this week, we will be doing movie reboots.
Yeah.
So you guys were told to think of a movie that, or a previous movie that's already been made that would be rebooted. You get pick of a director and the cast, and I want to know a movie title, other than whatever it is.
Okay.
Right?
But what? We have to come up with another movie title?
No, the movie title.
Okay.
Obviously.
All right.
Put a little pizzazz in it if you can.
Oh God! See, I've only took 15 minutes to prepare.
It's
So.
all right. So we can go off the chart. So, Mike, you will go first.
All right.
You have 90 seconds.
All right.
To pitch your movie.
I'm ready.
And you can start now.
I am pitching a reboot of Galaxy Quest. It was a film that came out in 1999, which starred Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, and Tony Shalhoub as a group of washed-up actors who all starred in a TV series called Galaxy Quest, which was basically Star Trek. I'm just explaining the plot for anybody who doesn't know. They are forced to actually live out the show that they've acted in when they're recruited by an alien race to fend off another alien race. And this alien race that they're recruited by had intercepted episodes of Galaxy Quest, and they mistook them to be actual documentation of Earth. Yeah. So they basically designed a ship just like the ship they had on the show. And I think that would be. It was an interesting movie. I just saw it recently, and it was a Tim Allen comedy film sort of thing. But basically, I would want to reboot that movie with Joss Whedon as the director, and I'll explain it in a few minutes. And as for my lead actors, I have to explain the roles just a little bit, and I'll do more of that in the rebuttal. But Robert Downey Jr. would be my main actor because he would take Tim Allen's role, as he was the actor of that group who, out of all the washed-up actors, loved his time in the limelight. So Robert Downey Jr. obviously is that egotistical sort of actor who could do that. And I know I'm running up on time, so I also have Elizabeth Banks in Sigourney Weaver's role, and I also have Hugh Laurie in Alan Rickman's role.
Okay.
I'll explain more in the rebuttal.
All right, Costa, you have 90 seconds.
All right.
You can go.
All right. The movie I am going to pitch to reboot is Waterworld.
Okay.
I have not
Alright.
seen. It's been a long time since I've seen Waterworld, so I had to give myself a quick reminder. See, and the one reason why I think Waterworld works is that the message of Waterworld still kind of fits with today. You know, all the polar ice caps melt. The world's basically 95% water at this point. And, Kevin Costner plays the character known as the Mariner. He's kind of like this mutated human being. He's got, gills and stuff. He can, live in the water. And he comes across a woman and young girl, not mother and child, but he's trying to help them find dry land. And, of course, they encounter, various, bandits and stuff along the way. And so for this, I would want Waterworld was a $175 million budget back in 1995. That was huge, and it failed under its own weight. Nowadays, that's pretty much the standard, $175 million. But I would want someone that can make this a visual masterpiece. So I have Alfonso Cuarón as the director for Waterworld.
Nice.
And then the lead actor taking Kevin Costner's role as the Mariner would be Tom Hardy.
Okay.
And then the support actors playing the young woman known as Helen would be Emilia Clarke. And the young girl that they come across will be played by Raffi Cassidy, who we know as Athena from Tomorrowland.
Oh.
And various other. This will be a pretty star-studded cast, played by elders and drifters. We would have such as Ben Kingsley, Liam Neeson, Idris Elba, and Gary Oldman. Very star-studded cast for a reboot of this magnitude.
That was
Wow.
there you
And
go.
you just.
Dang.
Wow. Very impressed.
That was a very effective pitch. My pitch, unfortunately, I had to explain the plot of my movie. And
Okay. All right. So now is where we rebuttal. So I will go back to Mike.
Okay.
And you have
2.5 minutes this time.
To rebuttal. Go.
Okay, so this is going to be more of my arguments for my film as opposed to trying to prove why it's better than yours. It's just because I didn't get the time to explain it in the pitch. But so basically the movie is that it's a comedy. It's a Tim Allen comedy where the group of actors are, taken up by aliens. But what I think why it would make a good reboot is that Guardians of the Galaxy proved that you can do sci-fi and humor with a serious tone. And when I watched Galaxy Quest, I thought if it had a slightly more serious, darker tone to it, it would almost be just a fantastic movie. Now, Galaxy Quest already got critical praise just for the movie it was. Like, I mean, it's pretty high up there on Rotten Tomatoes and Metascore. It got pretty good acclaim back when it came out. So now, if you reboot it with a cast of Robert Downey Jr. playing the egotistical actor who it loves the limelight, Robert Downey Jr. would be perfect for that role. And then Hugh Laurie, like I said, he was play Alan Rickman. Hugh Laurie would be perfect because both Alan Rickman and Hugh Laurie are British, obviously, and he would be playing a role where his character hates. He hates that he constantly has to rehash his character's catchphrases at every convention they go to. Like, he's tired of his role, but he keeps doing it. So I think Hugh Laurie would be perfect for that. He could totally pull off the guy who would be cynical of his role nowadays, but also has the appearance of somebody who could have been on Star Trek back in 1980 or something. So, but that's why I think it would be cool, and it adds a bit more twist of than Guardians of the Galaxy, because as I was forming this argument, I realized, it's a little bit too much like Guardians of the Galaxy to a degree, because that's, if I had Joss Whedon as the director, Rob Downey Jr., I'm basically pulling from the Marvel pool, but the reason why I think it would work is because these are humans being taken from the real world and being put into the sci-fi world, as opposed to Chris Pratt's character in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was abducted when he was a kid, yes, but otherwise he grew up in the sci-fi world, so he was used to it. So this would be a story of discovery, and then along with it being funny, but it would have a darker tone, and because I do envision a few characters might die. I would rewrite the story so that the plot is a little bit more focused. There are a bunch of plot holes in Galaxy Quest, but other than that, I would make it a serious, dramatic tone, and with Joss Whedon and that cast, I don't think you could go wrong.
All right, you're done.
Jeez. Miss Strict.
This is my office. I am the movie person right now. All right, now Costa, that was a pretty good rebuttal from him. And I'm going to give you 2.5.
All right.
To either talk more about your movie or try and fight why his should not be.
It might be a little bit of both.
All right, and I will let you start now.
So you mentioned, I was even thinking that Galaxy Quest is a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy. So why would you want another movie reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy,
especially it was successful.
Especially since the first Galaxy Quest actually was successful. Why try and reinvent the wheel, so to speak?
Jurassic Park was successful, wasn't it? But aren't they remaking it?
But I don't think Galaxy Quest is quite.
But
I don't think Galaxy Quest is quite on that same level of popularity as Jurassic World is. And then, whereas Waterworld, when it was made back in 1995, it had so much hype coming into it. I mean, you're talking about a movie that had a near $200 million budget that, again, it kind of crashed under its own weight. And since it was such a failure, but the concept was there. It was all right there, but they just couldn't make it cohesive enough to work. So now, if you have the right director, such as Alfonso Cuarón, the lead, because Waterworld was intended to be just a visual masterpiece, and I think obviously, Gravity is a perfect example of his acumen of being able to handle a movie, especially with some tense action sequences, which is what Waterworld would also need. And I think Tom Hardy as the Mariner, again, he'd kind of be playing a more like Mad Max, but with actually more character and more substance to him. More or less, and I think that, and he's played other roles like this before in the past, so I think he fits it perfectly. And Emilia Clarke, kind of, because the character of Helen is kind of like this guardian, she's watching over this little girl, and from what I've seen of her as Khaleesi, and basically I haven't really seen her as much of anything else. She'll be in Terminator, but she's playing Sarah Connor, which is also kind of like she's like this motherly figure, kind of like a badass and stuff like that.
So mother of dragons.
Right, she's the mother of dragons, and she's the mother of John Connor, and she's fighting the robot apocalypse and stuff. So I think she fits the role very well. And we've seen Cassidy, in Tomorrowland. I think as a child actor, she would just fit really, really well in this pseudo sci-fi. And Gary Oldman would be the villain.
Oh.
Come on, that's not even fair.
He would be Deacon, he's kind of the antagonist, the leader of the group, and also it's just the fact that the message still fits. I know I said that before in my initial pitch, but global warming and all that. I think that's my time.
Yep.
But
yeah.
She cut me off, so I'm cutting you off now.
It's okay. I was fighting down, but that's right. Yes. So, all right. So now I have some questions and stuff. First, I'm going to go with Mike.
Okay.
Costa made a really good point. Galaxy Quest, and you've said it too, was compared to Waterworld, was a success, and people love that movie. So my question would be, as a movie studio exec, that I wouldn't want to know if I wouldn't have heat on me of people yelling at the studio saying, why are we rebooting this? It's already perfect. It's already classic.
I don't. I mean, if you watch it nowadays, I don't think it's a perfect movie. It did have success, but even still, we're in the age of Hollywood where anything that was successful is getting remade. Anything that wasn't successful is getting remade, basically. So I don't think that's really the big question. And then not only that, you would have the cast would be a huge draw. You know, Robert Downey Jr. I mean, Hugh Laurie maybe isn't the biggest name that you in terms of movie box office, but and then directed by Joss Whedon, you'd be pulling a lot of Marvel's fan base over just based on that talent alone. And then, like you said, you also have Guardians of the Galaxy came out not a few years ago. This would be still different than Guardians of the Galaxy.
You said you wanted to have a darker tone. So
I wanted to be a little bit darker than Guardians, where some characters could actually die.
Yeah.
Like in Guardians of the Galaxy, it just felt like, once again, nobody could die. It's like they all felt like they had invulnerability. And then not only that, like, it's the whole point of Galaxy Quest is a bunch of humans living in a sci-fi world, but they're also a bunch of actors who have to actually live out a show that they were acting about.
Yes.
Like one of the best parts in Galaxy Quest in the original film was the little kid who used to who was on the show who drove.
You just said one of the best parts of that movie.
Well, no. What I was getting to was that like one of the best parts is that, like, now that he's grown up and they're on the actual ship when he's steering it, they're trying to leave the docking bay that they're in, and the ship slams onto the side of the docking bay and like screeches the whole way down. Like, it would have humor like that, where it's a bunch of people trying to.
Are you doing a straight up remake of this movie where you're
not a shot for shot? Or if like I said, the story would need reworking, because I do think there are plot holes, and I didn't like the whole there's a part where they can time travel for like 13 seconds, which ended up being like the big reason why the one alien race was attacking this other alien race. I would change all of that.
Okay.
I would give the villain a much better motivation for wanting to attack this alien race.
Okay.
And I would make the situations just a little bit more darker.
All right, I'm going to cut you off there because now I have to ask Cost some questions. Now, unlike Mike's with Galaxy Quest, which was a successful movie, Waterworld was not.
Nope.
And like you said before, so my thing would be, if, say, we wanted to reboot this, Waterworld, people would be like, why are they doing that? It was a shitty movie. Why are you going to take a piece of shit and bring it to me again? What would make this Waterworld different, other than the cast and everything like that? What would you change to then make this a successful film that you believe that you would make people come to see this? Who's going to sit in the seats for this again? People,
I think given with the technology that's available today, and also how much it costs to make a movie now. Like I said, this movie was made was $175 million back in 1995. There had been no other movie to put that much into a budget.
Yes, and
ever.
I'm not giving you that much money.
Right.
If I'm
But think about it. With everything you can do now, let's say, if you were to say have $100 million or $150 million, imagine how much more can be achieved with that money now. Granted, this movie would be largely, CGI filled, of course, but who I'm going to continue to emphasize, who better than Alfonso Cuarón to do that? Just look at how great visually Gravity was. And I think, and I know you said to forget about the cast, but if you have the right cast in place, Kevin Costner was obviously a big name.
Yeah, he was a big draw back in the day, so he did have a big cast. So
right.
My thing is, all right,
but you also need better writing.
Yes.
You also need better writing, which was the biggest flaw of Waterworld. The writing was kind of stale. The story was kind of mushy, So I was sitting here before we started recording this, trying to think out who would be the scriptwriter for this, and I'd be, and I couldn't figure out who it would be. But needless to say, if Kieran were tackling this project, I'm almost certain that he would get somebody good. I mean, whoever helped him with the script on Gravity. And like with this cast, and I'm talking about, this is a pretty star-studded cast. I mean, in today's terms, I mean,
it's got it's got Tom Hardy, who's already with Mad Max and everything. And I see how you're trying to build off. If we get Tom Hardy, then maybe we can get the Mad Max audience. Maybe we can get people that don't know.
Right.
Yeah, but how big is the Mad Max audience, though?
Well, no,
I don't think Mad Max doesn't fall in that range of like blockbuster.
Not even just
audience.
the Mad Max. I'm not. I mean, because I think Tom Hardy is a big enough name actor to
Just
be.
like the
I mean, but think about it.
I don't think he has some draw, but I don't
Right.
think you're going to see a lot of films just because Tom Hardy's in it.
But look at the rest of the cast, though. I mean,
Well,
like
right.
you'll have Emilia Clarke, Ben Kingsley, Liam Neeson, Idris Elba, Gary Oldman, and of course Gary Oldman, when he plays the villain in any movie, he's pretty much like the best character in the movie. I mean, Waterworld was supposed to be a success, and I think now it's been 20 years since
That's true.
Waterworld.
Yours, what can you rebuttal with that? With his has been 20 years.
Well,
His has been 20 years, and it wasn't even successful then.
Well, right.
My film wasn't that long, wasn't as long ago, but it was successful.
Why would you want to put the actor that plays Iron Man in a movie that would be almost reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Because why would you want any other actor in that role? The actor is an egotistical jerk. He's a Tim Allen's character.
Right.
Is how any Tim Allen movie starts off. He has a flaw, and in this flaw, he's egotistical.
I'm not saying your choice of Robert Downey Jr. is a bad casting. I think you're right. He's
an excellent choice.
I think Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect choice for that role. But my point being is, why would you want to make a movie that is so similar to something that's already successful right now?
Because it's not. Because the character is different than Tony Stark. Tony Stark.
Well, I'm not talking about Tony Stark. I'm just talking about the general feel and appearance of the movie, compared to like Guardians of the Galaxy? Because there is going to be another Guardians of the Galaxy movie coming out in a couple years. So why would you want to have something that like I said, even though it's been 16 years since Galaxy Quest, why would you want a movie to come out that would be seen as being something very similar to another big blockbuster sci-fi comedy?
What helps negate that is the Star Trek aspect of it, because it is very Star Trek-like, because it's based off of Star Trek. So I think that that Star Trek vibe helps change the visual aspect of it, so where it won't feel too much like Guardians of the Galaxy. Then not only that is that I wouldn't want the film
but you
to
also
rely
want Joss
on
Whedon to do it too, by the way. I'm just
right. But I
too,
pointed that out already. I already pointed out that
but
I'm
the humor
pulling from
though
the
carries
Marvel
over.
task.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying Joss Whedon can handle both a dark storyline mixed with good humor. We've seen that in Cabin in the Woods. We've seen that in the Avengers. He can do that, and so why it's like, yes, these are very similar casting choices to what Marvel would do, but if you're going for the best movie, the best reboot possible, why wouldn't you go for the top of the list? If Robert Downey Jr. is, first of all, he's the hottest name in Hollywood blockbusters right now. So if you can get him for your movie, why wouldn't you? If he fits your character, why wouldn't you get him? Because he can pull off the humor that Tim Allen did. I mean, he can pull off the
I'm sure.
egotistical, but with
But
the humorous side to him.
Well, I was just going to say, I hear both.
I just had.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Well, can you do it in your final argument?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
So I'll
All right, fine. I'll take your best shot.
I'll let you go first because I know you were last talking. So this was your final thought / argument for your movie and everything to help me decide who I should go. So I'll let you go first. You have a couple of seconds.
Okay. So basically what I want to finish up and to wrap up my argument is that because, again, I can see the differences you're bringing to the table for your version of Galaxy Quest compared to, like I said, a more recent movie like Guardians of the Galaxy. But Waterworld, again, it's been 20 years, and we haven't seen this a post-apocalyptic world like Waterworld since Waterworld. It's something different. It's not. It's a dystopian world, but it's not in the same vein as like a Mad Max or like The Road or something like that. I think this would be something different visually it'd be refreshing in a way, because again we've all seen like these post-apocalyptic movies. There's at least 1 or 2 every year that come out, and this would just be something different. Again, it's been 20 years, and I think that's enough time to try and bring something back to give it another try, and I mean, that's basically it. I just think the cast works well, and again, I'm going to continually emphasize that with Kieran leading the way on this movie, I think it would be just as it could be just as good as Gravity. I think that was the intention. Like when Waterworld,
Gravity with water. Basically.
More or less, but think
which is more ironic
because
Gravity was filmed. They filmed
water.
CGI in water.
But just keep in mind though, like when they did Waterworld, they were expecting it to have the kind of success that Gravity had. Okay. So again, it's been long enough.
But
bring it back. Right, but that's why you need to reboot it. Why?
But it didn't.
You only fix things that are broken. You don't have to.
That's not Hollywood style. They fix things that aren't broken.
But I'm saying. Make something that you haven't seen in a while, and if it can be reworked, if it can be done better, then do it. And Waterworld can most definitely be done better.
Okay. All right, Mike. He's done.
Okay.
Final thoughts. Go.
Okay. Now, I won't attack too much, but you said it's another dystopian film. How many dystopian films do we have to see?
How many sci-fi films do we have?
No, we don't have that many successful sci-fi films nowadays. Star Trek went off the rails after the first one. Guardians of the Galaxy was kind of successful. Yeah, but we didn't know that until about a year ago. You know what I mean? So I'm saying we could use more optimistic sci-fi films. Like this one would have a darker. Yeah, but that's more of a dystopian film more than a sci-fi film.
Yeah, okay.
But it still more fits in that dystopian universe that you're talking about. Also, I'm talking about rebooting a successful movie, so you would have fans who remember that film. I don't think a whole lot of people are going to remember Waterworld and see
all
it.
the more reason to reboot it, because
most
people won't have memory
because then you won't get the audience. You won't get the nostalgic audience.
Well, but Gravity is a whole
but people
new
won't
thing.
think of that. People won't.
Yes, they will.
No, they don't. No, they won't. I guarantee you,
if you present it the right way, they will.
Right. Well, but I'm saying if I present my film the right way, I'm going to get the audience from the nostalgia. I'm going to get the Star Trek fans. I'm going to get the Marvel fans. I'm going to get the Joss Whedon fans, the Robert Downey Jr. fans. Yes, your cast is impressive. I will give you that. But I have all these things backing up my film, so I don't get why you wouldn't reboot this, especially because it is something different, slightly different than Guardians of the Galaxy. So and like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy just proved to be successful as well. So people want to come and see happy, positive, funny, yet mixed with dark, serious enough tone sci-fi films. And that's what I think this would be even better. Yes, the plot would need a little bit reworking, but you wouldn't have to do a whole lot. So there. I mean, no, you just said Waterworld would have to be rewritten.
Right, but I'm talking about the message of the movie that wouldn't have to change. It still fits very well with today's world.
You're basically Ronald Emmerich.
Roland,
whatever. Roland Emmerich, yes. Or every other film that he's made.
But this isn't a Roland Emmerich movie. This is more about this is purely trying to emphasize just a visual masterpiece with strong writing.
Yeah, but how many times are we going to see a dystopian universe?
Is that your final thought?
Yes.
But it's a different dystopian universe.
It doesn't matter. It's still another one.
Okay. This is my... All right. So this was interesting. I liked... I was actually surprised that you picked Galaxy Quest, and I was actually kind of surprised that you picked Waterworld. So they're both kind of like... but the thing with me, and also, is that you picked a successful film that came out in, what, 98, 99?
Right.
And then you picked one of the worst films ever made.
Trust me, I almost selected Dune, but I did not want to tackle that monster.
Oh my goodness.
No, and you wouldn't have been picked. So this is kind of hard. I mean, I like both the casts, and I do like both directors. I think that's really, really, really good. And I think they both, like you said, I think Robert Downey Jr. probably would fit perfectly into that role that, who was it again?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I want to say Tom Allen.
Tom
Allen. Tom Hardy, I mean, anybody other than Kevin Costner probably would, and I think, going on Tom Hardy. I do like the Alfonso Cuarón. I think it is kind of interesting that it like you said, it would be it's a dystopian film that we've been seeing a lot of. But the thing
over
with
and
yes,
over
and over
and
again.
over again.
But this is a different world.
But it
because
doesn't
there
matter,
is
it's
no
another one.
Sand and stuff. There's water.
But it's
Oh,
another
water.
one.
And the thing with
Okay, then
yours-
it's day after
no,
tomorrow.
I get that. And then yours is you want to go off of kind of this, grab from this Marvel world and all this stuff, and you want to and sci-fi. And
Which I find kind of
everything.
ironic.
Well, I just want more optimistic sci-fi films out there, especially one that was already pretty good. If you're just going to reboot it with a more serious edge, and also just real quick, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I did read something that in the initial version of Galaxy Quest was going to be actually a darker tone,
yeah.
but they cut it down to get a PG rating.
Yes.
So keep that in mind as well.
I have. But if I had to choose between the two, I would probably go with Costa.
Why?
And here's-
Why would you
wait,
reboot
stop.
an unsuccessful film?
Because yours is already a successful film. That was only
Exactly, it's going to make
I
you
know,
money.
But that's the thing is,
It's gonna
already
make you money.
It's
Like-
already successful. People have already seen it. It's been a while since Waterworld.
But
has
nobody
come
went to
out.
see it.
Yes, but I think if he had somebody like Alfonso Cuarón, he has a big cast that's all very popular right now. We could probably bring in the Game of Thrones fans with what's her face,
With Emilia Clarke, yep.
Emilia Clarke. I do like that young girl who played Athena in Tomorrow.
Yeah, but she doesn't have a huge following.
But
No,
that's
but
the
you've
thing,
got to
but we
admit
could
though,
give
from
her-
what she
was a
showed,
good actress,
but
but
in that little bit that
but
she
is,
showed,
But is anybody going to be excited?
Pitch, so everybody be quiet.
I'm just gonna take my money and run now. So I've got a Waterworld reboot to make now. So
Yeah, good luck funding your unsuccessful film.
Well, that is our movie pitch for this week. I don't know if we know what next movie pitch thing will be, but I
figure it
guess
out.
we'll figure it out, whatever. But thanks for joining us. And
Yeah.
Thanks for our very heated
Uh-huh.
debate here.
Prove I'm right. Comment in the YouTube video
Yeah,
underneath.
comment in the YouTube if you think I was wrong. And do you
She
have
was
any
wrong.
other
Tell
ideas
Amber she was
about
wrong.
What a reboot is? Are you excited for Jurassic World, which technically isn't a reboot, it's a sequel.
Okay,
Yes.
but still.
So, anyway.
They're still trying to reboot the Jurassic Park movies with it.
It's a sequel.
It's
Anyway.
a sequel, but it's a reboot because they're trying to bring back Jurassic
And how
Park
do you feel
to make
about
sequels.
what was
So
the
it's a
beginning that we
reboot.
were talking about that trailer for
what?
the Swayze dog movie?
Oh, the Point Break.
Point Break. And how do you feel about Point Break? Is it a crappy? Are you going to go see it? It's a remake or a reboot, whatever.
That's a yeah.
All right, guys, you can like, favorite, subscribe on our YouTube channel at Movie.Cast. You can go to Twitter at Movie.Cast.
Yep.
Is that all?
You can agree with me.
You can agree with Mike. You can disagree with Mike. You can give
No.
us your
That's
own
allowed.
opinions of what you
No.
think should or should not be rebooted. Anyway, have a good day, and we'll see you next time.
Good day.
I absolutely should have won that. everybody.
Bye.
See ya.